So I know it's not very popular anymore to check the iTunes sales chart because honestly, who still is getting digital downloads? But I'm the type of music fan that still, every day, is in the habit of looking at the iTunes chart. And I think it's a useful metric because it shows the artists that have enough passion around them that people are willing to spend $1.29 on their song. And if you've been paying attention over the past couple months, you may have noticed this trend of fledgling country stars that are popular on TikTok climbing to #1 on the iTunes country chart and sometimes on the all genre chart as well. This has happened with Priscilla Block and her song Just About Over You.
When I was just about over you.
It's happened with Cooper Allen and his song New Normal.
Well, I'm getting used to this beautiful view every time I wake up.
From Alexandra Kay and from Andrew Giannakis. And every single time this has happened, it's left the country music industry reeling.
You released Just About Over You on August 5th, just 3 weeks after writing it. Here we are 2 months later. This is whirlwind.
The labels in Nashville are left to ask, who are these artists? Why weren't they on our radar? And how are they getting #1s on iTunes without the system on their side? And perhaps most importantly, are these viable country stars, or are they simply clout-driven entertainers that have figured out how to hack the system with their TikTok followings? I mean, to a lot of people, TikTok is still nothing more than Gen Z kids that are dancing and lip-syncing.
What's up, Texas? Holla, bitches poppin'. Get clout, get right there, right there.
And while that may have been how TikTok started, anyone paying any attention knows that the platform has evolved to include so much more than that. Now you have chefs and craftsmen and political commentators, and certainly you have musicians that are capitalizing on the app because it is a music marketing powerhouse. Obviously, you had the success of Old Town Road in 2019, and we've seen a bunch of rappers like DaBaby and Megan Thee Stallion that have really benefited from exposure on TikTok. More recently, we saw the revival of Fleetwood Mac's Dreams thanks to a viral video of a guy on a longboard with some cranberry juice. This especially vibey, upbeat video went viral, people started recreating it, and suddenly the song was number 21 on the Hot 100. And country stars went in on that action because they want to stay relevant in the streaming era as well, as evidenced by the innumerable cringy Amazon Music ads that they always put on their Instagrams.
Alexa, play the new Lady Antebellum song.
Alexa, play the CMA Awards playlist.
Hey Alexa, play Country Heat.
What If I Never Get Over You by Lady Antebellum on Amazon Music.
Woo!
The playlist, CMA Awards on Amazon Music.
Yeah.
And during quarantine, we've seen almost every big major label country star come over to TikTok. People like Toby Keith and Luke Bryan. Even Randy Travis has a popular TikTok account.
Forever and ever.
But certainly the two modern country artists that are doing the best job of capturing momentum from TikTok are Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen. Now, neither of them post to the app all that much, although sometimes they do, and sometimes it's really funny.
She don't know she's beautiful. Never cross, she don't know.
But what they both do is allow demos of their songs that are sometimes acoustic and sometimes rough to become popular sounds on the app that people use as the background for whatever. A video about their high school friends or a video that says, I'm sad about my breakup.
Yeah, you used to talk about getting even further south.
These unofficial sounds become very popular among audiences before the official song has ever been released. And then when the song does get released, well, a ton of people flock to it. We've seen this happen this year with both Morgan Wallen's 7 Summers, which broke streaming records, and then Luke Combs's Forever After All, which broke even more records. They both have an open-handedness about their music that really works for modern audiences and is totally different to the old-school publishing mentality that used to exist in Nashville, where you wanted to protect your smartest lyrics and your best songs so that no one else would steal them and write a hit song with them. Morgan actually talked about this exact strategy with Theo Von on a recent episode of my favorite podcast this past weekend.
The whole TikTok thing started happening with my song, so I just started trying to take advantage of it, you know, like, okay, well, that song, they really responded to that song, and I didn't even mean for it to happen, so maybe I'll give them one on purpose now and see if they'll start building up every song the same way they did the first one. And it seemed to be a really good strategy for me as far as leaking out, demos or whatever.
But while established stars figuring out a new social media platform is interesting, it's not as interesting as new, obscure talent that doesn't have an audience that is figuring out how to generate their own momentum using just a social media account. And that is happening all across the country music world. Priscilla Block was an aspiring musician for years in Nashville before she started her TikTok account, where she started posting goofy videos of herself, sometimes singing, sometimes twerking. I even reacted to a song of hers called PMS that I thought was hilarious in an old reaction video.
Well, it turns out I ain't pregnant. I don't need an antidepressant.
I mean, Priscilla Block, I hope you're gonna cut that. There was one video of hers in particular that went super viral. It was her singing a newly written song called Just About Over You about running into an ex at a bar.
I'm finally putting on the shirt I like, tight jeans, big hoops.
For whatever reason, this particular song clicked with audiences, and Priscilla Block, to her credit, leaned into it and made a crap ton of content of her just singing that sound over and over again. As Priscilla was racking up followers on TikTok, she started to have little polls where people could weigh in on what the album cover that she shot herself should look like. And meanwhile, she was recording the song for cheap. And then when she released the song, she was smart to do it on a Wednesday because most new music comes out on a Friday. So sales have kind of petered off by Wednesday. And boom, the song went to #1 all genre. And suddenly, this girl that most people hadn't heard of is the talk of the town. The story was very similar for Andrew Giannakis and his song Gone Too Soon.
Come around unannounced and you leave with the sunlight.
People heard him singing a little bit of the song, they liked what they heard, he leaned into it, and boom, he also got a #1. Now, both of those artists have major label record deals, and to the credit of the majors in Nashville, they're moving quickly. They've signed these artists and they are sending them to radio, and that's not easy for every label to do because they are committed to these long-term marketing plans and radio tours. But whereas some artists are taking major label deals, others are happy to stay independent. Cooper Allen is a guy that went to #1 with his song New Normal, but he is not going this standard major label route, or maybe one of them did not come knocking on his door. Instead, he has started what's called the 615 House with other TikTokers.
What's up, guys? Chris and Ashley here. We just got to the listening room. The first show is in an hour and a half, and we're super pumped.
Thomas Mack and Tiger Lily and Tony Evans and a bunch of people, they are posting up in a house together and making viral content. Is this stuff going to get as many views as the Sway Boys kind of dancing up on Dixie D'Amelio? No, but it is kind of country music's version of the popular house format that's popular in like the McMansions in LA.
The wine, the beer, the whiskey.
People go the other direction too and take their viral content and transition into a music career. A guy on TikTok named The Frat President has done exactly that, taken his comedic success.
Flies down, bro. Yeah, it's been down for like the past half an hour. Whoa! What are you doing? Don't zip it up!
And then started a music account under his real name, Cooper James, and he's doing very well. Now that TikTokers have basically figured out if you release a song on an off day and you get enough people to pre-save it, it only takes a couple thousand downloads to go #1 on iTunes. I expect we're gonna see this a lot. In fact, I'm recording this on November 30th, and I will bet you anything that tomorrow this song Dick Down in Dallas by Trey Lewis,
She's getting dick down in Dallas, real out in Raleigh, tag teamed up in Tennessee,
which is so popular on TikTok right now, is going to be #1. I'll add it in if it is. This song is crazy popular. It's everywhere. In fact, it seems like there is some kind of bigger marketing muscle behind it. They already have merch made. This is like an official launch, and I find that interesting.
What is the importance of skepticism in your work and in your message?
I mean, there are a few of these songs that have gone #1, and when you look at the streams, they have nothing on songs by Priscilla Block or Cooper Allen, and you're like, how did you go to #1? I mean, were there bots involved somehow? That's certainly what I'm asking. And if I know how the music industry works, I think that we are going to see a lot of kind of fake come-ups on TikTok from secretly signed artists that are getting actually big promotional money. And there will be this weird pre-written narrative where Gen Z stars are suddenly entering the big radio radio country artist ranks. And I think we're already starting to see some of that with acts like CB30 that have really close ties with Luke Bryan, as well as Noah Schnacky, who already is on a major label, and these people have millions and millions of followers. And given how prone to manipulation streaming algorithms are, I don't know that that will necessarily be good for mainstream country music. Streaming isn't technically radio, and sort of it seems like the way TikTok works is whichever label is willing to pay the most, suddenly those songs get really popular on the app. I imagine TikTok's kind of gritty DIY energy is going to get replaced by tons of verified corporate accounts, and that's just how it goes on social media. But I think that ominous prediction is still a little ways off. For now, I think there is a lot of joy to be found in TikTok. It has given me a whole new hope in Gen Z that I really didn't think I fully understood until I got the app. So I think artists and their promotional teams can learn a lot from the people that are taking off on TikTok. Namely, people want a direct contact with artists in 2020. The super corporate feed where it's just professional images with text over them or announcing a merch sale, that does not work for people anymore. They want to feel connected. Unless you are a giant star, at which point I do feel like there is some point where people start to almost want to see a curated version of you. But for up-and-comers, that's not the case. On that same note, I think self-promotion, self-marketing is always cooler than being promoted or being marketed. I think it's 2020. I think people understand that that is how the internet works. They don't look down on it. I think that most artists actually have trouble being willing to promote themselves. They feel guilty about it, as if this amazing music that they have created doesn't deserve a platform, or they feel like there's something gauche about doing so. But what's that old phrase? It's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. I feel like it is the artists that are willing to promote themselves and put themselves out there that often find the audience. And then I also think that a lot of people overthink quality. When this is all you have to do, and all of us are familiar with just talking into a camera like that, not every single video or piece of content or promotional material needs to be beautifully shot and professional. In many ways, I think quantity is more important than quality, and a phone is sufficient for most of the content that you need to make. And it is fun for audiences to be on the ride when you actually make the leap to having a professional music video. That's kind of part of the fun of being a fan in 2020, is seeing that evolution of quality. So we'll see where this all goes. I think it is so cool that unknown artists are scoring number ones without big ads in country air check and without big promotional campaigns and banners in the iTunes store. And they can be high quality artists too. It doesn't just have to be the pop country side of things. You've got people like Kat Hasty and her song Pretty Things. You've got bands like the Tootin' Brothers, and they're using this format in creative ways, making funny videos, building audiences for themselves, and exposing the world to great music.
This is what you get if Todd Schiller sang Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy.
Well, I walk into the room, passing out $100 bills.
Here are a few people that I really recommend you check out on TikTok, artists whose music I thoroughly enjoy. If you want bluegrass tinged covers of songs that were not originally bluegrass tinged, check out Theo Candel. I love his.
My dirty little secret, who has to know?
Riley Thompson has a beautiful, pure voice, and I first found her singing a cover of Lady May.
And tell me that you love me, lovely Lady May.
And then there's a dude named Carter Christensen who goes by Dumb Guitar Songs. He's super unknown, but I think his song lyrics are absolutely hilarious, and he deserves a lot more credit.
Face mask and tequila, would you be my quarantine?
And I like so many others. I love Sarah Lissa Sings. I enjoy Thomas Mack and Tony Evans. I think Ashley Cook is very savvy. She even, I saw, got Parker McCollum to duet her recently.
What does that say about me? Yeah, you went and did me wrong.
Now look, you can call these people clout chasing or you can call them scrappy, but part of the music business is clout chasing. And certainly in a year when no one has been able to tour, I have to admire the hustle of people that have been able to make their star rise, even when so much of the bottom has been pulled out of the music industry. Some of the music that's coming off of TikTok is awesome, and some of the music that's coming off of TikTok sucks. It's just like the real world. And really the point of this video is not to say whether or not this is good or bad, as much as just this is a reality. And I do think that most smaller artists that wait around for their publicity or promotion team to drum up excitement about their career should be shaking in their boots a little bit, because there is an ambitious group of hustling Zoomers that are ready to make their own momentum. And if that means the best art doesn't get exposed to the world because there are just hotter people making funnier content on social media, that sucks. But that's also showbiz. And so I want some of the artists that I really love to have at least some presence with the next generation where they're already at. I think many of the greats of the music industry do figure out ways to adapt and stay relevant. I think Dolly Parton has been a shining example of that over the course of her career. She's gone with the flow. She has not scoffed at new ideas or new methods of distribution, and that has served her very well. I know this was a little bit more business focused of a video, but I'd love to know what you guys think about the rise of TikTok and its effect on country music. This video was a bit all over the place, but I hope you enjoyed it. You can check me out on TikTok as well as all my other social media, which is linked down below. My name is Grady. I talk about country music on this channel, and if you like country music, whether it's indie or mainstream, you might like it around here, so click subscribe. I got to get in the habit of saying that at the beginning of videos, but I just don't care enough to do so. I love you guys, and I'm going to be back with a really fun video coming up next. Bye.